Hey, to have a performance like tonight, just how much does that show that the hard work you've been putting in this season really has paid off?
I mean, it means a lot for me because the last couple games I haven't been happy with the way I was shooting the ball. And yesterday, one of my friends gave me the best piece of advice someone could have given me. He told me just screw it when you're open, your first set, just screw it. So my teammate did a good job at finding me wide open. So I said, screw it, shot it.
Maya, for you, just what was it taking the negative result from the weekend and just playing together, talking consistently, and being monsters on the boards?
Yeah, I mean the loss this weekend really hurt, and we just wanted to grow from that. So we definitely got better from this weekend, and that showed. We had a lot to work on, but we're back on track, so we're excited.
Maya, to get a double-double from you, a double-double from Megan. A lot of extra work you guys were doing, loose balls, rebounding, things like that. But the energy stayed consistent throughout the course of the game. How important was that to make sure that energy and that effort was there the entire time around?
Yeah, I mean, that's what we have to do to prepare for later in the season. We just kind of emphasize not letting up, always playing every quarter like it's 0-0 and giving everything that we've got, because at the end of the day, like, we're only getting better. So that's really going to help us down the long run.
In his post-game interview on the floor, Dan talked about your morning shootout. He said it was your best practice of the season. What's it like trying to have that kind of focus coming into a game, maybe after you didn't have your best effort, or I should say your best result in your last time out on the floor, trying to at least cleanse the palate and come back out and try to start all over again?
Yeah, I mean, it just was, we were extremely dialed in based off of how we played last time. I think that we just want to not take any opportunity for granted and make, like, statement games. Like, if we have the opportunity to win every quarter, like we tied the fourth quarter today, but it's just been our goal to stay consistent. A lot of games I think that will like win the first three quarters and then lose the fourth quarter. So it was just kind of tying four quarters together, and that all started in the shoot around with just being dialed in and focused.
They talked about you guys all working together to find her open, and I guess it helps a lot when you have a handful of different players that can get open and make shots like that. Just how important is it to keep that ball movement as a priority when you can find so many different people open?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's one of the best parts about our offense is that we can really get everyone involved. It's an equal opportunity offense. So it's kind of just whoever's the hot hand that night, like, we're going to find them. And Nay, she said she was disappointed in her last few games, but I think that she's been playing great. So I think that it's really important for us down the stretch in these conference games to utilize Nay. She's like our hidden weapon, so.
And that three-pointer in the corner from Megan, she was celebrating before you went down. Your teammates were getting more and more into this. It seems like they were more excited about this than you were as the game went on. What's it like knowing that they are rooting for you to do well when you get the opportunity to do so?
I mean, it gives me a lot of confidence. That's everything that you dream about when you have teammates. I mean, they give me confidence, and they're the first one to tell me to shoot it. So
This is for either or both of you. After the tough performance on Sunday, how important was it, particularly in those first two quarters? You hold them to 11 points, 4 of 34 combined from the field. How important was that, not only in the grand scheme of tonight's performance, but to cleanse yourself of what happened on Sunday?
Yeah. I think our mindset was just kind of like, no matter how things are going on offense, our defense is the one thing that we can keep consistent and just playing hard, playing smart, like knowing the scout and playing together. So when shots aren't falling and stuff, as long as our defense is consistent, that's what's going to help us win games. So I think that we were really focusing on that today and holding them to, what did you say, 11 points in the first quarter. We were really excited about that. So.
Maya, Dan was on you somewhat consistently in practice yesterday.
Yeah.
Just how was that, just being coachable and just understanding that he's doing it out of love and he wants to see you become the player that he knows and you know that you can be?
Yeah, I mean, when I was a freshman and stuff, I would let it get to me. But now definitely I feel like I've matured and been able to take his advice and make something of it. But now I definitely, like, made an effort to offensive rebound. That's what he was harping on me to do yesterday, as you saw. So I really just appreciate him believing in me, and then I always want to execute for my teammates and coaches.
All right, thanks.
Thank you.
Okay. It's a win, and obviously people are happy because we won by a substantial margin today, and we played well at times. That doesn't mean that we shot the ball well, and our decision making could have been a little bit better also. But what we were really challenging our team to do more than anything is to play with a sense of urgency, a sense of desperation. And what I've shared with them every year, multiple times throughout the year, 4 or 5 times throughout the year, I'll say, the water level is here and your nose is just above it. And you have to feel like you have to survive. You have to have that sense of urgency and desperation. And today, and yesterday, after a very poor performance in our last game, our sense of urgency it was much different in practice. And at the end of the shoot around today, which was our best practice that we've had in a couple years, I said, "You guys have achieved it. Now you have to bottle it, and you have to do it in the game." And now we have to do it again on Saturday and going forward. We're capable of playing with a great sense of urgency and diving on the floor and taking charges and offensive rebounding and rebounding in general. And boy, what a good team we'll be when we shoot the ball better and up to our capabilities. I'm not trying to be a downer. Obviously we're happy to score 69 points and hold our opponent to 38. But we're going to celebrate it to midnight, and then we're going to move forward because we have to have an edge, and part of that edge is understanding what our deficiencies were during a victory.
Dan, just how good was it to see Nay's been getting points even at Mason? She was able to amass points, but how certain and how confident it seemed like she was feeding off of each make, whether it was feeds or just intangibles, just finding the ball on both sides of the court.
She's arguably the hardest working player that I've ever coached. And that says a whole lot because I've had some like Vanessa Abel and Rachel Wadowski and Amadeus Samashi that were all professional players and worked a great amount. Naya is always here in the gym and working really hard on her game, and she's incredibly skilled. Every time she shoots the ball, you think it's going to go in. And tonight, she's 50% from the three-point line and 50% from the field. And teams are keying on Tess Myers so much that Nay is getting that second defender, and she's finding open looks. And so as we move forward and she continues to shoot the ball well, it's going to be a situation where teams probably going to have to pick their poison between Nay and Tess Myers.
From a rebounding standpoint, Dan, I know you and I were talking yesterday about talking on defense and finding boards out of that. Just how much maybe better was that tonight? Obviously a season high, but just also trying to find that consistency of finding the ball, especially on the defensive end on shots.
We missed a lot of shots, and they missed a lot of shots. So there was going to be a lot of rebounds to be had, and we came up with them. I thought we were good. I was disappointed in the first quarter where we gave up six or seven offensive rebounds in the first quarter, and then they had 6 the remainder of the game, and that's a pretty good number. 56 is a number that you don't typically see for a defensive rebounding situation. Again, we didn't shoot it well, but we had 15 offensive rebounds, and I thought Amaya Hamilton going to the glass tonight, we challenged her to do that, and we will continue to do that. When she can offensive rebound like that, it just makes us a really, really tough team to beat.
From that perspective, the offensive rebounds, the loose balls, no balls that were called in this game that went in your favor when you had the arrow because it came back and forth so much. And even the defensive intensity, we were talking with Nay and Meyer earlier, and they were talking about how important it was to do those little things. When you have a night like this where maybe you're not shooting them, those little things still carry you forward. How do you try to reinforce that without being too particularly, harping on maybe one thing, but keeping those little things in front of you?
You have to celebrate that. A stat that doesn't even show up here late in the fourth quarter, Tess Myers didn't shoot the ball well today, But Tess had a situation where she barked out a screen call where a man was going to set a screen that helped Precious get through. And then she had help defense, and then they had a kick out, and she closed out to who was not her man to prevent that same Bonaventure player from getting a good look from the three-point line. It was an amazingly good defensive play that doesn't show up in the stat sheet. And so you celebrate little things like that as soon as you possibly can. In her case, she was coming out in the next rotation, and we talked about it, and I'll bring it up again tomorrow in practice. Anytime that you have things like that happen, the dives on the floor, Yanni Townsend's charge, you want to celebrate those as much as possible because those are edge and urgency type plays. And you know, you have to celebrate those, and we have to have those consistently to have great success as we move forward.
Amaya talked about, just some of the things that you and her have discussed over the years and how she's been able to receive them a little bit differently. Her have a game like this where she puts a double up, but she's also, getting steals and finding open teammates. When did you start to see that transition for Amaya to where you figure, okay, this is one of those players that we can really build around because of everything she can do?
Amaya's a grown woman, and she's really taken a step forward with her game. And I probably didn't coach her real well last year. I probably could. I know I should have coached her differently. Not could have. I should have coached her differently. And she took the brunt of a lot of frustration and never quit and is in the gym a lot, especially with being a physician's assistant major. And if you don't understand that type of major, that's a major where it's incredibly difficult. It's kind of like going to medical school and still playing Division I basketball, and I don't know how she does it. But, Anaya with 13 and 12 tonight, but 3 assists and 1 turnover. And the thing that stood out to me besides the offensive rebounding was her rebounding and going the length of the floor and attacking the basket. And I thought she did a really nice job there, especially the one drive where she finished with her left hand. Beautiful, beautiful drive. It's a situation where Amaya and I both wanted the same thing. We wanted her and the team to have great success, and that has happened this year. And I'm so happy for her because when you think about the definition of a student athlete, a model student athlete, that's Amaya Hamilton.
You talked about the defensive sequence that doesn't show up on the stat sheet. There was one on the offensive side that doesn't always show up on the stat sheet. A lot of ball movement, and Riley Sunday gets a defender off of her feet, gets to the paint. Then another couple extra passes to finish a bucket and an and one. The ball movement on this team, how important is it when you have a group of players like this that are so unselfish and are working to find an open look?
We were able to move the ball tonight. We were able to swing the ball, and we had good ball movement from side to side, and that was good. Riley had 2 or 3 times where she put some defenders on skates, and I call it her Doncic stuff. She kind of has a little bit of Doncic in her where she's able to identify the top foot of the defender and on a dime in a very tight amount of space at top speed, change direction. And that's a pretty important, that's a pretty impressive thing of what she does. And I wanted to make sure that she got good quality minutes with our starters because we're investing in Riley. And we want to see Riley continue to do those things and find confidence because, we need to be able to play a little bit deeper into our bench as we go through the season.
Dan, Yanni's obviously still coming back, but 12 and 5 in 16 minutes. Just how do you assess in the time just her effectiveness as she continues to find health on the court?
She had 12 and 5, and she played 16 minutes. She had the charge, which was really nice, and she also had a block. I thought she took a couple shots where she should have, attacked rather than just settle for the turnaround jumper. She's got to make free throws. And she didn't do that tonight. And so I'm happy that she's back, but I want more. I want more from Yanni because the expectations on her is that she can be an all-conference level post player, and we believe that. But she's also, guys, has an ankle that's like the size of an orange, and to do what she's doing, coming back, we're happy with her progression. And we wanted to play her no more than 16 minutes, so Blame the coach for her playing 16:02, but she'll be ready to go for Fordham on Saturday.
Thanks, Tom.
Thank you for supporting women's basketball.